Welcome. It is the end of December. It's the 27th. My name is Geraldine, and I go by X Stitches here on YouTube and on Instagram, where I share cross stitch and other crafty things. And it's just a way for me to connect with other cross stitchers in our community. So welcome. Thanks for stopping by. If you're coming back, thank you for coming back. I have almost 160 followers now, which is amazing. I've only been filming for about 2 months. I'm kind of coming off the haze of Flossmas. I did promise a shot of my Modern Folk Embroidery Evertote Roxy Floss Co. Advent Sal finish that I did finish on Christmas Day. But I was just yesterday was busy and it was lots of family time, so I didn't get that done. I will get that to you. I'm think I'm going to plan on releasing my WIP parade this video on the 30th or the 31st, so hopefully by then you've seen my finish in another format. I do want to get back and show that. But today is all about WIPs. So what are WIPs? WIPs are works in progress. So these are my active cross stitch projects. When I started cross stitching a little over a year ago, I never thought I would have this many projects going all at once. I definitely find myself pulling between new, shiny, fun, beautiful projects that I want to start and work on, and the old ones that are beautiful as well that I want to keep working on and finishing. So I'll talk about plans at the end once we've seen all the WIPs, or maybe in another video. I'm not sure how long this one will be, but I have some ideas for a way to try to manage or maybe balance that. So yeah, let's get started. I was up late last night cross stitching, and then up a little earlier than I expected, so coffee is necessary today. Of it. So way back in I got my notes here. I have to even guess, I think perhaps 2016 or 2015, I started a full coverage cross stitch. This is the picture. This is my alma mater for my undergrad and my first master's. The University of North Dakota. They have since changed their name to the Fighting, oh my gosh, I don't even remember. Fighting something birds. That's awful that I can't remember right now. But when I went to school there, they were the Fighting Sioux. So I had this specially made by, at the time I found this cross stitch person, creator online, Mulanella, and so they took my image and then converted it for me. Oh my gosh, I found a little needle minder that I never knew I had. Well, I mean, I knew I had it at one point, but I completely forgot that I had it. That's so funny. Scroll that away. Okay, so it's a full coverage. It's a million colors. It's 18 count Ada, maybe 16 or 18. I gridded it out with pencil. And this is how much I have. Oh, I'm showing you wrong. This is the right side up. So this is how much I have done. This is just a lot of like a few, like 2 grays and a black. So, I started this project because I thought it would be fun to do, a cross stitch of the logo. I don't love full coverage, and it's a million flosses. I mean, I have a bunch more. I don't even know if the calculations are right. Like, I bought so many flosses for it. But I don't know. I thought that this was back when I thought that I had to cross stitch in a hoop or a frame. And I don't love that. That's not the kind of cross stitch that I enjoy. For a few reasons, and so I have picked it up a little bit. I don't think I've touched it in 2022. I think I might have touched it at the end of 2021 and just put maybe like a 10 by 10 inch square or stitch square in. The finish size I think will be 16 by 20. So I'm not counting this in my list of WIPs. I don't know if I'll ever get back to it. I'm not ready to like give it up, but it's just not what I'm loving right now. I do think I can sew in hand with it now, but it's a lot, and it's a lot of gray, which isn't super fun. So I'm just not there right now, but it is something. It's kind of what it's like my oldest WIP technically. Now we can get started. Okay. So my oldest WIP is actually the project that got me back into cross stitching. So in the fall of 2021, my daughter ordered a diamond painting kit off of Amazon, and I was like, what is this? And so I bought a kit. I enjoyed it. I kind of sort of went down that bunny trail. Some of the diamond painters that I started watching on YouTube also cross stitch. And that's when I learned from Flosstube that cross stitch is not what I thought it was, which is like full coverage. It's not all full coverage pieces with tons of colors on Ada that you buy from Joann or Michael's or, you know, your local craft store, that it's like so much bigger now with overdyed floss and overdyed linens and even weaves and Ada and just the whole gamut. But early on, it was coming up on Christmas, and so I wanted to do like, I of course was late to the game to do like an Advent cross stitch that is like a setup thing, because usually you have to pre-order those quite a bit ahead of time. I did find the Barbara Anna Sal that was just the PDFs that came every like week or so for a while, so I did do that. That's completed. But I made myself an Advent calendar. I don't know where this thread came from. I think maybe from in here. And so I purchased, where did my board go? Sorry. Okay. So I went to my local needlework store. I bought Ada. So I wasn't 100% there yet when I started this, just full disclosure. But I wanted something where I could like stitch every day. So I bought some, I don't even know, like some kind of cream Ada, and I found a Advent type calendar chart on Etsy. And so this is Little Fox Stitching on Etsy. And here is the model. And this is how far I am. So these squares as a new cross stitcher did take more than a day or like an evening usually. So before December actually started, I stitched all of the grid with the snowflakes in between, and then I did this bottom band there so that I would have that done. And I am working on day 10 currently. I haven't touched this. I think I did touch it this year, but not for a while. And I did not touch it during the Christmas season at all, but it is one that I'm not ready to abandon. But it's definitely, it's DMC colors, Ada. It's definitely like a newbie for me. I have it in this vinyl front pouch that I sewed last Christmas for myself. So this was one of my first vinyl pouches that I made. Okay, so then my next piece you, I think, have seen. This is the Modern Folk Embroidery. Do I have a cover page? This is the 2022 Stitch Along by Modern Folk Embroidery. Here is the October cover page. So it's all out now as of the 1st of December, but this is the most recent printout that I have. I am almost through October on this one, and this is one that I want to not get so distracted from. It's big. I put it on, so I'm using an even weave light taupe. I think it's like a Witchelt out of the, well, I got it at my local needlework store, but it's not hand dyed. So it's a 32 count even weave, and I'm using hand dyed by Rolanda's floss in wintergreen. I purchased 3 hanks, and I am almost through 2 of them. So I can't see anymore. Hopefully you're getting all of this. And then this is where I am at the bottom. So I've got this whole bottom section left to do. But if I really pushed, I could get it done. I'm a little bit nervous to start the 2023 sale without having this done. I've been wanting to stitch on it a little bit at a time, but I've been distracted by Christmas and my Advent stitching, and then also knitting, because I did if you've watched my Flossmas videos, you know that I also knit a gnome with the Imagine Landscapes gnome knit along. So anyways, this is in a project folder that I made myself. It's got like little snaps here. It's got a vinyl pouch on this side with a pocket behind it, and then it's got another pocket that goes this way with flannel to kind of hold my thread there. And I do want to make another project folder. Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch released hers, and I like her pattern, so I'm going to try that out, and I want to put my 2023 sale for Modern Folk Embroidery in one like this too. So early on in 2020, so naive, in 2022, I was doing the 2022 stitch along, and I got done like in February. I caught up and I got done in like 8 days. And so on February 28th, February 8th, I decided that I should start the 2021 Fruits of Plenty sale too. I love the pattern. I love the colors that I picked. It's a lot of stitching. It's probably more stitch. I would guess, if I had to guess, it feels like it's more stitching than the 2022. And so I got a little bit of ways on it, and then I haven't really touched it for quite a few months. So let's see. This is the finished pick cover. And there are some options, I think, for some of the medallions to change it up. And I will show you. I think I have all of the colors, so you'll see from the stitching that I have done the colors that I chose. It's 4 colors of DMC. I have like a million skeins, not quite a million, but I have a lot of skeins. And I am down a little bit past here, so there's just like a little bit that keeps going. So I have the first month-ish done. I have the first medallion for the month. There's more border that needed to get done to complete the month. I think I need to, like, when I work on this again, I need to kind of sit down and figure out, like, now that I know a little bit more about what my style is, think about, like, how I can work on it. I don't know, efficiently isn't the right word, but, like, kind of how I want to attack getting sections completed more easily, because when you're, like, traveling through all those border type motifs, it can just get kind of tricky with counting. So I am stitching this on a 32 count Witchelt Jobelin even weave. It is ivory. I didn't write that down on my card. And I'm using 501, 502, 3750, and 931. So, and then I have that in another like Blackbird fabric bag that I made. It's like a portrait mode project bag. And then this bag is actually pretty fun, that I designed to hold all of my stuff. So it's intended to have like scissors or whatever, like in this clear vinyl front pouch is what I made it for. And then there's a second zipper pouch that my floss bag is caught in to hold all my extra floss and other things. So that is that WIP. Okay, the next one is Isabella's Heart. I don't know if I have, I only have the, I'll have to put in a picture of Isabella's Heart. I only have the Pattern Keeper version on my tablet. So downloaded. The rest I'd have to get from Modern Folk Embroidery. I actually purchased the Evertote kit, and then I purchased the chart, PDF chart from Jacob, because I wanted both. So I have this in like a little project card. This is made out of that like fusible foam to give it some structure. And then my cards fit inside here with like a little pockets to tuck the ends in. And then I can stick my project in this little pocket in the back. I'm just kind of trying this style out. I don't know if I'll ever make one like this again, but it's kind of fun for a little project like this. So this is how far I am. I am stitching it on, I had to look back and see what I ordered from Evertote. I think I ordered 28 count blank slate kit. And so it's got the 3 Leo and Roxy flosses. It is Falu Red, Flamingo, and Antique Wedding Dress. And I was just working on getting all the red in. So it's like the heart and then the 2 birds on the side. It's a pretty fast stitch. It's large count. I did struggle a little bit with counting to get the heart completed, but I feel like now that I've got most of the heart completed, it should go pretty quick. This is one that I want to get done because I'm starting the next stitch along stitching with Caroline Chark C is for Coffee. I've ordered that, and I'm starting that on February 14th, but I think I'll need to finish this. We'll talk about my plans later, but I'm going to need to finish that before I can start. But that's a nice little petite one that it's easy to see, so I can like carry it with me and do it kind of more on the go. So yeah, okay. This next one I have mixed feelings about. This is Kefonia Creations by Isabella. It's a beautiful pattern. I love it. This is her version. She stitched this. I got the PDF of this. It's called for is DMC. Yes, and when she kits it, it's called for DMC on 26 count fabric. But like I said, I kitted up my own, and I did a hodgepodge of hand dyed. It's Gentle Art and Classic Color Works, and then there's one of a kind Leo and Roxy floss called Whoopsie in here. So I changed up the colors a bit. I like the colors. I miscounted when I started on the border, and so to fix it without pulling a bunch of these flowers out, I like had cut my fabric really short. I think I have enough that I could still frame it. I like to frame pretty tight, but it just seemed like a really quick, simple stitch. There's a long way to go on this. The border bands are nice because once you, the flowers took a long time, but then the borders are pretty quick once you get the pattern, the rhythm down. But I don't find myself coming back to this very often. So like, I don't want to give it up, but I don't know that I'm like actively wanting to work on it this year. So I'm trying to decide what to do with those. Like, do I call them WIPs? Do I call them something else? If you have thoughts about that, put that in the comment below, because it's going to impact the rules around like my goals and like how I want to approach my stitching for 2023. So I started this in February 22nd, 2022. And it is a 32 count even weave, and it's like I think it's a witch oak color or a Zweigert color. That's like a standard, not over dyed color, that I did not write down because I wasn't good about that stuff in the beginning. I just have this this was the Magnolia kit from Forbidden Fiber Company. This was the bag that it came with. Okay. The next one I have in, I think that this bag was the bag for Stitch North for 2022. I did not have the opportunity to go to Stitch North. I found Cross Stitch and Evertote too late to get in for last year. But she had extra bags on the website after a month or so. And this is my Rosewood Manor Spring Quakers. This is the Rosewood Manor with Baldani model on the cover. Mine is, I think Ellen converted this. I'm pretty sure. This is Ellen's conversion with Leo and Roxy floss. These threads are back when I just snipped like Caroline does. She just snips the bottom of her flosses when she's ready to stitch with them, and that's how she gets her pieces from the card. They're a little short for me. That's okay. I think for rosewoods it might make sense because there is quite a bit more color change than I expected. I started this in March of 22. I did not write down the day, and I don't have like a picture or anything to help me. I am stitching it on 32 count brown sugar. I swore I stitched it on 36. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so I stitched it on 32, but I'm stitching it over one thread over 2 strands of linen, which is an interesting choice. In my head, I thought I was, because I knew I was stitching it with one strand, I thought I was stitching it on 36. It has decent coverage. This is how far I am. So I just have like the first 2 motifs done, and then the next, started on the 3rd. I like this one. It's more color changes than I thought. I just got distracted, to be completely honest. I do have the Evertote conversion for winter Quakers too. That's kitted. I have not started that one, and I thought I was going to start it this winter, but I don't think I will. I'm sure I will get to it at some point, but that's spring Quakers. Okay, and then my next WIP is Birds from Bernard's Books. This was a modern folk embroidery design that Jacob created for Caroline to raise money for the aneurysm foundation, brain aneurysm foundation, for her husband John. He was raising money for the New York City Marathon, which he completed, and I didn't hold up my end of the bargain. I don't think Caroline's done either though, so I don't feel quite so guilty about that, but I am stitching this on 46 count peanut brittle from Roxy Floss Co. with Hussy as my floss. And this is how far I've gotten. It's just, again, it's a lot. I love the negative stitch. It's just a lot of stitching, and it's one that I have to pay. I haven't figured out the pattern enough, so I have to pay attention to every row. And then stitching on 46 has been a slight learning curve, especially with this darker fabric, but I have enjoyed it. This is one that I was wanting to, like, I was good about doing like a little bit every day, like a strand every day, and then I lost it. A lot of stuff went downhill in June really it was May when I started really hitting my frogworts pieces hard to get them done for the retreat in July. And then I just didn't go back. I did other stuff. Okay. So that one I started May 1st of 22. My next piece is in a Q-snap, and it really probably shouldn't be because I haven't touched it for a while. It is Ink Circles Dog's Declaration. I started this March 20th, 2022. We lost our Yorkie of almost 15 years in May is when I started. I started May 2022. We lost our Yorkie in May, and I wanted to I was looking for a pattern, and I just wanted to stitch this. She absolutely loves squirrels. We would go to my in-laws' house, and they have like a whole like side of their houses, second story windows that look in their living room that look out into the woods that they have in their back. And she would see a squirrel, and she would freak out and cry and run, and then she'd run out on the deck and chase them away, and she just loved the squirrels so much. We don't live in an area that has a ton of squirrels. When we moved in, my husband planted quite a bit of trees with the goal of hopefully someday having squirrels for her. Within the last month of her life, we had a squirrel that came and visited her a few times on our back deck that she could, and she was pretty old, could barely see, so we had to help her see him, but she was so excited, and so when I see squirrels, I always think of her. So that's why this piece has meaning for me. Oh, look, I found some Adam Hart. I think they're Adam Hart. I don't remember who. No, maybe they're not. These are acorn floss drops that I saw on someone's Flosstube and had to have for this piece, and then I haven't converted them over from the cards yet. So I am doing my own. I think this was another, so called for is Valdani floss with Tycho. I would have had to order that all online. I don't have access to Valdani near me. So I did a conversion as best as I could with Classic Colorworks and Gentle Art mostly. It looks like I have one Leo and Roxy Sugar Plum. Oh, I do have 1 Weeks. I don't love to use Weeks, but I did pick out 1 Weeks here. I'm gonna have to let you know how the conversion goes, because I didn't fill out a card for this one, which I need to do. I'm gonna put that in these are my project tracker cards that I created, so I'm gonna put that in the bag so I can do that later. So this is 25 count Lugana. It's parchment by Forbidden Fiber. And it came in a kit for something else. And I think it may have come in the coffee kit. Don't quote me. But I have room on another piece from there to do the stitch that came in the kit. So I have two. So essentially I have a kit that has enough room on that linen and matches the kit that this fabric came in and the kit that pattern that came in that kit. So basically I'm kind of like robbing from one because I have enough to do double, if that makes sense. And I am stitching this particular piece is, so it's 25 count and I'm stitching it over 1, which is why it's in, excuse me, why it's in a Q-snap. Oops, because I can't sew in hand very well with over 1. I find that when I sew in hand, the threads get lost between the threads of the linen. So this is 1 over 1 on 25 count. I do have a stand, excuse me, that I use because I'm practicing the double-handed, you know, one hand on the front and one hand on the back of the fabric to be a little bit faster. I really love this piece. I was tempted to switch it to start over and switch it to Leo and Roxy and do over 2, but I don't think I will. I love the petiteness of it. I'm just less likely to grab it because I need a stand for it. I like to stitch cozy, right? Like curled up on the couch, and it's hard to do that with a stand. What is nice about this, but then if I don't have a stand also when I'm using a Q-snap, I'm excuse me, I'm like pecking or I'm stabbing. So when I stitch like with holding the hoop, then I have to just use one hand, and it feels so slow to me because I stitch in hand and I like the speed of it. So anyways, I love this piece and I want to get back to it, but there's a lot of stitching there. So I have this. So shortly after I started this pattern, Caroline came out with this bag, and it's like a little squirrel party. There is a squirrel pattern that Hannah created with Leo and Roxy floss, and I think it was like I don't remember what it was called. It was like a bubblegum pink Ada or linen. I don't remember. I think it's an Ada. So I had to buy the kit to get the bag, but I had to have this bag to go with this pattern. So excuse me. Oops. So that is Dog's Declaration by Ink Circles. All right. My next stitch I started during Frogwarts this year, so on July 16th. This, I think if you've watched my Flosstube episodes, you've seen before. This is Nevermore by Leela Studio. And I am doing a slight variation of Caroline's conversion. It's kind of a marriage of my own and what she started with her conversion the first time around before she redid it this fall. So the conversion that you'll find at Evertote in the floss packs now is her new version. I am stitching this on a linen that I got from my local needlework store. It is Picture This Plus 40 count French vanilla. And my Leo and Roxy conversion is Cousin It, Vampish. I don't know if it helps to show you or not. My puppy has been helping me with this one. Asparagus, Morticia, Pippi, and Haystack, Vixen, Anne. This is Anne, not Annie, right? Anne and Plum Shadow. So I'll show you how far I am. Caroline's newest conversion doesn't have Morticia, and I couldn't not have Morticia. I had already started my piece and I love it. So Vampish, Morticia, Vixen, Vampish again, Vampish, the Folly colors that just really go in the leaves here. There's not going to be a ton of those. Haystack is here. And then I just chose to do, instead of using more Vampish, I chose to use Cousin It for the bird. And if you look really close, once I started up here, I went up and down. So the variegation goes up and down here, and then it will go across here to kind of separate the wing from the body. There's a lot of stitching in that bird, but now that I have him like outlined, that can be like a quick, when I don't want to look at the pattern. So I love this piece. I want to get back to it. This is one that like haunts me. When I see it, I want to stitch on it. So yeah, that's Nevermore. Not to be confused with my next WIP, which is Rejoice Evermore, also one that haunts me. I will have to put up a picture of this one. I have the paper chart and I don't have the cover photo. I just have my working copy. It is Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread, with Leo and Roxy porcelain on 46 count, with Ellen's Leo and Roxy conversion, which I believe is still on the website. These colors are so delicious. I love these blues with the greens and then the pinks and the red. Actually, that's not red. I lied. That is truffle, but it's beautiful. So I'm stitching it 1/2 on 46 count. This porcelain is gorgeous. This stitch is so fun. This is only, I started this August 12th. This is only maybe 1 or 2 days worth of stitching. That's what I have so far. So I just started in the left bottom corner because that's the best place for me. This is what I stitch in hand. And then I worked up to get to the birds because I wanted to do some birds, and like what I really wanted to do was get that house outlined so that I would again have some fill in for that. This is one that legit haunts me. It haunts me. Did I start this right? I'm gonna have to check that I started this the right direction because I have it folded like wide, like it's short. I think it's good because it's 46 count, and maybe I just didn't want to cut the linen. So I'm going to have to check my measurements on that one. But this is one that, I know I've said this about a few of them, but this one like legit haunts me. I love it. I love the colors. I want to have it done. Okay, next one was a start in August of 22. I don't know what day. This is actually a series that I bought and I've been working on. I finished the first one. It is the Hands-On Design Scary Apothecary series. This one is Cauldron Cleaner. I finished the first one. I don't even remember. I'd have to look back. I have it here. Bat Balm was the first one that I finished. But I need to change the date. I think I actually started this in September because that's when I finished the Bat Balm. But anyways, so I don't know if I count these as a WIP once I finish it or not because I have the whole series. This is just a even weave. I don't remember what count. It's a 32, 36. I'm not even going to guess. I don't know. I have it in the other bag with all the other supplies. But that's my start on cauldron cleaner. I am using a Leo and Roxy Flosco conversion. So I have, they're more colors. These are these hands-on designs where they use all the same palette for all the pieces, but not all of the pieces have all of the colors. So I only have the colors in cauldron cleaner out right now. But those are my colors. Creamsicle, matcha. I don't know if that became a standard. A lot of these are Floss Club. Guac, I think that one is out now. Charcoal is a standard color. Obsidian might be a floss now. And then Ubi, I don't know if that stayed. I think that might have not stayed. Anyways, so that one's a nice small. It's nice to have a few smalls. Eventually I want to have, like I said, them all done. I just haven't been feeling very Halloween-y. And so again, this is one that I don't know if I count it as like my big whips, or like if I finish it, do I have to leave that spot because I'm going to start the next one eventually? I don't know. Okay. The next one is Icelandic Knot Cushion is what it's called. I found it on Etsy. Let me see. Nicola Cook Needlework. It's from 2020. The pattern is from 2020. That is what it looks like. I started this as we went to Iceland this fall. So this was my like Iceland trip start. I started it just a little bit to get myself going because I was nervous about starting like in the airport kind of thing. I ended up driving to the airport. I thought I would have time in the car. We were like jam-packed full all day. I did not have time to stitch like I thought I would in the car or anything, which is sad. So I don't have a ton of it done. I am stitching this. It's 175 by 175. I'm stitching it on a Bestitch Me. It's number 270. It didn't have a name on the card. It's a 32 count piece. I marked even weave, but I'm pretty sure it's not. It's linen. Oh, maybe it is even weave. It's even weave. And I wanted to stitch this on wool. So I went there is a local needlepoint store to me that they do, actually I need to remember, like they have silks, which will be handy eventually, but I went there, I called there way earlier in the year and I went there and they were like, well, we don't have cross stitch thread. Like, you do have cross stitch thread. Like you just, like it's different, right? Like we have to use it differently than needlepoint, but they do like, they have like the plant, what is that plant one? The silks, but it has like planet something, planet fibers maybe. They have some that I could use for cross stitch. Anyways, I digress. So I found wool, and I think she thought I was crazy that I was buying wool for cross stitch, but it is Bella Lusso 100% merino wool, and of course I wanted to do that because of all the wool that they have. They don't have merino wool in Iceland. They only have their Icelandic sheep there. They're actually not allowed to have any, like they don't allow in the importing of any horses or sheep. They have to be like native because they want to keep their bloodlines in Iceland the same, right? Like, so I'm trying to remember how these came. I'm just using like one strand. It's pretty thick, so I'm just using one strand on 32, and I think when I did my research it's about the equivalent of 2 strands of DMC. I have to use, some of these pieces are a little long. Short pieces are better because the wool tends to fray, and I'm using a big needle. I think I'm using like a 24 of my Sullivan's needles, but anyways, this is how far I am. It's gorgeous. I love it. It's just a little finicky, and it kind of got put away when we got back from Iceland because I didn't get as much progress on it while we were gone as I hoped. So it's barely a start in my opinion. It is something, I love the pattern. It's something I want to do at some point. It's very, because it's so geometric, it's really easy and like zen to stitch on. So I made this bag. I ordered the fabric It's like that, I'm trying to remember the company that you print, like you get printed fabric from, like made to order. So it's got like Iceland on it. Whoops. Okay. Gosh, I have so many WIPs. But there's so much I want to start. Okay. This is the Hugga bag from 2021, I think, from Evertote. These fun houses, and it's got like the gold stars on the inside. And then this is the pouch that it came with, matching. And this is my Christmas garden. So I saw this pattern on Caroline's channel. Someone had asked about it like behind her, and so she showed it. She had stitched it forever ago, I think, with the called for. And I fell in love with it and was like, how do I find it? How do I find it? I scoured the internet. It's of course out of print as a booklet, as its own booklet. I had it in the Home for the Holidays Blackbird book because it's this in the same book as 'Tis the Season. So once I realized that, I was like, I'm in. So it's very simple. It's only 4 colors. I have a very baby. Does my linen really have to be this big? This linen feels big. Maybe it's a big piece. I don't know. This is my start. And I am stitching it on Eureka by Fox and Rabbit. It's a 40 count linen, and I have converted it to mulberry, brazen, algae, which is a one of a kind, and chocolate ganache Roxy Flasco color. And I have it on my gold, night bus ticket floss holder. So those are my colors. Very bold and Christmassy. I think it's quite a bit more bold than the ones that I've seen of people who have stitched what I assume is the called for, but it's definitely more like my jam, and not a light color, like muted tone kind of person. So it's a better view of my start. I stitched this whole star and it was in the wrong spot. It was like over here instead of over here, or maybe it was over here instead of wherever it was wrong. So I'm still restitching the star, but I love the brazen. It's a really pretty gold. It looks great. So yeah, that one is one that I love. And I just kind of actually started it early, like not during Christmas time. I started it on October 8th. And then I neglected to get it over Christmas because I got distracted by all the other fun Christmas. So that's one that I think I will stitch like throughout the year, even though it's Christmas. All right. So the next one is I Am No Bird. I think I might have... This was my birthday start and Black Sampler November 2022. I love this chart. It is this one, Modern Folk Embroidery. I stitched on this a little bit, and then what was I stitching in November that I got distracted on? Because I had some finishes in November. 'Tis the Season, and my Mill Hills, and so that's why I didn't get it done. But this is, I don't know how much I'll work on it, not in November, but I'm going to save it for next November. Oh, I don't need to show you my project card. Silly goose. So here's my chalkboard floss. It's in the bag, kind of all haphazard. Oh, I've been cleaning out like all my extra notions that are in all my bags and trying to just, now that I have my hand in lock cases, limiting that. So I have the entire border done, but I left out the X's, like I counted every 10. So those will get filled in when I do like the other, there's 2 borders. Yeah, you can see down here. There's the second border. So as I'm doing this border, I will fill in. I just have to go back through. And so then I worked up to the corner. I did this motif, started the date to get up to the house so that I can do fill in on the house. So that's how far I am. This is on Fox and Rabbit Hog Bristle, 40 count. Like I said, Leo and Roxy Cutco chalkboard. And I started this October 31st as one of my 4 birthday starts. So it was like birthday week is when I started it, but I wanted to start it I actually tried to start it while I was handing out candy, like sitting outside under the garage lights, and it didn't work. So that was fine. I started once Halloween with trick-or-treating was over and everyone was settled. I officially started on it. This next one, I love the pattern. I have some mixed feelings about. This is Christmas Eve by Cottage Garden Samplings. I've loved this pattern since I saw it last year. It's been waiting for a Christmas start. I started it for my birthday starts. I've had a lot of missteps with it, and so I looked at it today and I decided I didn't want to like abandon it. I also don't want to fix it yet. I'm not ready to fix it. So I don't know. It might go in like purgatory, whatever that middle ground is. So I started it 11/2/22. It is on Be Stitch Me Morning Fog 40 count. I am using all of the called for, except instead of bayberry, I pulled something else out, and I have to look and see. This is the color of green I'm using, and the bayberry is a much lighter green. So if you'll remember, it took me 3 or 4 tries to get this outline of the red right for his cloak. And then I stitched all of this white to get over to his boots, and then all the way up. And then when I tried to get back over here, I realized I was 1 thread off. So a half a stitch off because I'm stitching over 2. So somewhere down here, something is wrong. And all of this is wrong. And it's so dense that I don't know if I can fudge it. And it was really hard stitching this white on this color linen. This might have been before I got my nice BenQ light. I don't remember. So it's got to get frogged. Like that whole leg and arm section has to get frogged, which is frustrating enough for me to be mad at it for a while. I feel like I'll get over it maybe next Christmas season. So I don't know. I don't know if do I count this one as a WIP or does it belong somewhere else? I don't know. This is a bag that I made. This beautiful quilting fabric. I love it, love it. And there's a little notions pouch inside too. Oh, it's not inside, it's right here. So pretty. I gotta think about that. Where do your WIPs go that are in timeout? Do you count them as your WIPs, or are they like in a separate pile? Tell me. Okay, this one, oops, card. This one is one that I think I can maybe focus on, get done, and like check it off, and then have a WIP spot open. And that is my Tree Topper by Satsuma Street. I have it in a forbidden fiber bag. It's the plant bag, like the one that came that was like a greenhouse pattern. Sorry, I'm moving out notions. I do keep all of my Mill Hill beads in this bag, which is why it's in a project bag, even though I'm keeping it like in its kit bag. So as I finish up my Mill Hills, I sort them and keep track so that eventually if I need Mill Hill for other things, I'll have them, or I need extras. And then I have like one of these bead beds make a huge difference. I didn't have it for my first kit, and I used it for my second one, and I really loved it. Anyways, I digress. So Tree Topper, where am I at? I am working on, I'm the same spot I was last time I showed it on my Flosstube channel. I am working on his beard and trying to work around the mustache beads that go in here. So this requires some paying attention right now. And then I'll just have, once I have the beard done, I'll just have back stitching and beads. So I bet I have like maybe 2 nights of stitching on this and it would be done and I would be able to cross it off. This is another one though that like, do I leave that slot for more small Christmas ornaments? Because it's nice to have some smalls. These are fun kits when you need a little bit of a break. Or do I fill it in with something? I don't know. That'll make more sense when I talk about plans. So that is one that's kind of on my radar to kind of finish and get checked off my list. And then if I get it done soon, it can like go in my Christmas. I can like FFO it quick and it can go in my Christmas stuff before I pack it all away. Okay, this one is one that I'm hoping I will be able to kind of finish throughout the year for different things, whether it's at retreats or my online retreat, Frogwarts, if the prompts fit. So this is my Prairie Schooler Christmas Eve, not to be confused with the Cottage Garden Samplings Christmas Eve. It comes with these little ornaments. I'm doing the big piece. Elizabeth Ann Kin stitched this, finished it recently, and I fell in love with it. I am going to change. The words are in light colors. I'm going to change those to red and green. I've decided. But I'm working on getting the trees and the houses done so that I can do fill-in for the snow. So let me get this on my board here. I don't know. I've got this rolled for stitching in hand. This is on 40 count Billie Jean. It was my extra piece of my Park Hopper Bart Be Merry All chart. I had the other half available for this to fit on. So I got to get the houses complete. There's a tree here and a tree here that needs to get, they don't have any leaves on them. So it's just the tree trunk and branches and then snow on them. Of course, and then the sled is great fill-in. And then once I get the words in, all of the rest is snow, and then there's a border. So will be super simple. And then there's some snowflakes in the sky, but it will be super simple once I get the houses done and the words done and the snowflakes in. The rest is all like just fill in. There is a little elf dude over here that goes over here. I don't know. He's kind of weird to me. Like, I don't love him enough to spend the extra time to stitch him in. So I don't know that I'll do him. Maybe I'll just put an extra snowflake or something over there. So again, this is one that I think I'll pull out when I need, like, I see myself taking this to a retreat because I can stitch on it without paying a huge amount of attention to it. The Billie Jean does require a good light though. But I have a light that runs on USB that I can hook to an external pack. It has a battery in it, but the battery did not last very long. Like it wasn't very long of using it, where then I only get like a half hour out of the light, but with the battery in it. Okay. My next one. So I started that, that was November 19th. Tree Topper was November 14th. This was my Thanksgiving start. I started this Thanksgiving Eve. This is Feast of Friendship. It's a blackbird pattern that I am doing as a Leo and Roxy Flossco conversion. I am stitching it on Hog Bristle by Fox and Rabbit with my own Leo and Roxy conversion that Hannah helped me with a little bit while I was at the open house in November. It's fun to have like those memories. So because I don't, like, this is all new to me, meeting people, doing retreats, all of that kind of stuff is new to me. Like, I'm starting to have memories associated with pieces that are more than just me stitching them, but like the people who are around me or have helped me or whatever. And this is an example of that. So this is how far I got in I didn't get much stitching on Thanksgiving. So it was primarily Thanksgiving Eve that I got this in. My goal again was, this house is like no joke. It's huge. My goal was to get the house done, like outlined, so that again, this could go for easy stitching fill in. I think I have an Instagram post if you want to know what the conversion is. I like wrote it all out and took a picture of it on my Instagram post from my start. But these are my colors. So this is, again, like, other than maybe taking it to a retreat for fill-in, I don't know that I will work on it before Thanksgiving again. It might just be kind of like a Thanksgiving season stitch. So then, does it count as a WIP? So I probably should. But I don't know. I guess it depends on how strict I'm going to be about the rules that I'm making for myself. I guess rules are made to be broken too. So I just have to kind of think that through. Just throw that pattern back in the bag quick. We're almost done. All right. My next start or WIP is a relatively new start. I don't think I've posted it on Instagram, but I haven't shared it in a Flosstube yet. Maybe I did one of my Flossmasses. It is, that's my working copy. Here we go. I've been talking about it for a while. Hibernation Day by Heartstring Samplery. I just got a notification that my battery is low. I am stitching it on 40 count panettone. It's a special cut from Evertote with Leo and Roxy conversion, Caroline's version that she kitted. Again, this is one that she kitted up for me personally before she like was quite ready to get the kits. The kits went in the shop like later that week. Oh my gosh, I just unrolled it. So good. I was working on this last night until 1:30 in the morning. Doing what? Guess. Outlining a house. Outlining the houses. So this is how far I am. So I finished the first 2 bottom bands. There's a basket of berries and some words. So I just am working up this left side to get to the house so that again I have fill in when I need it. I just love this piece. Like I fall in love with it more and more as I'm stitching it. The colors are beautiful. I'm just really loving it. So I'm having a hard time imagining putting this away, but I know I'm going to get distracted by new starts and stitch alongs and all that stuff. But this would be, again, another good retreat piece to take and just kind of plug away at fill in. This is in another Evertote bag. This is the 12 Days of Christmas. It's an old one that she had a few more bags left that she did a special just a few weeks ago on. Okay, last one is in my Stitching Christmas fabric line bag that I created myself. Excuse me. This was the bag that I used for the Evertote Countdown sale. That has now come out of it, but stayed for a similar purpose because I am stitching Dream of Winter Garden. I technically started this 12/25. I didn't really get like a huge start on it though. Does this count as a start? Someone say no. Because I think I had talked about, this is my leftover panettone 40 count from the Evertote, which is really fun because the chart was made to be with your leftover floss from the countdown. I have leftover linen and leftover floss that I'll have enough for it, which is really fun. I am changing the colors from the called for a little bit, but I'm still using the floss. So I guess the moral of the story is if this doesn't count, then I think this will become, if it doesn't actually count as a start, this will become my blessing sampler, I think, for January instead of the Hands Across the Sea one that I have, just to like narrow down my WIPs. Or my WIPs and my starts for the new year. So this is called for our like the lighter, the like green greens, the greeny gold greens that were the last few days of the countdown. And I wanted to do it with the teals. So I have the teal greens picked out for stitching. So Can't Help It, Sea Salt, and what's the darker green? 'Tis the Season. So I'm super excited about this. Obviously, I was so excited. I like started it as soon as I finished my countdown sale on the 25th. Again, I didn't stitch on Christmas as much as I thought I would be able to. So I love this one. I think it will be a good one for January time. So I think that's what I'm going to say that. I heard someone say like there's a rule that you have to have a certain number of stitches in before it like counts as a start. I've never followed that rule before, but I feel like if I can follow that rule, then I can count it as my blessing sampler, which means you start it in January and you finish by the end of January, and then it like blesses your stitching for the whole year. We'll see if it actually makes me frog less. All right, so those are all of my WIPs. I am running out of battery. But I want to talk about my plans, and then maybe I'll like talk it through, give me some ideas, and I'll come back with like an official plan video once I've made some decisions. So I have, if I don't count my Fighting Sioux start, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 WIPs. I want to do 23 WIPs in 23, meaning I want to stick with 23 projects at a time through the whole month. Whether or not I'll count my frogworts WIP or my frogworts pattern that I'll start for that retreat, I don't think I will, because that will be a start and complete within like 2 weeks before the retreat starts, and then I finish it in the retreat. And I'm like convinced, unless barring like a major illness or something that like comes up with family, I will do that. So that means that maybe I don't count it. So that leaves me 3 new starts, which I have 4 on my radar. Unless I count some of these like that are in timeout as not WIPs. So yeah, let me know what you kind of think about that. Let me know if you think if you think Dream of Winter is not a new start yet. It hasn't been officially started yet. Yeah, so my immediate radar, I'll show them later, but my immediate radars are the 2023 Modern Folk Embroidery Sal, which means I really need to get moving on my 2022. It is the there's a stitch along for Ellen's Always Room chart that's been burning a hole in my pocket since I got it at the open house, and Ellen signed my copy and talked to me about it and personally showed me her sample she stitched, which is gorgeous. It's so gorgeous. And also then I was going to do the red sampler, which is my blessing sampler. It was a small Hands Across the Sea. I don't have the name of it written down. I don't have it handy. I'm trying to find the list of the things that I wanted to stitch. And then, so there's the countdown. There's, the Hands Across the Sea that like I said, I'm going to replace that, I think, with Dream of Winter. There's one other one that I wanted to start. I was also wanting to start the Fox and Rabbit from the Homespun group. I don't think I'm going to start that one. I'm going to stash it. And There's Always Room. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, so There's Always Room, Modern Folk Embroidery 2023, the hats, which I think is going to go away, and then to replace that one, Dream of Winter. And then the one that I don't have room for that like I have to start, but also I love it like as much as I love Evermore, and so maybe I need to, or Rejoice Evermore, so maybe I need to get, I don't know, Rejoice Evermore has so much on it though, left to do, but it's Turkish Delight. Carrie's conversion of that is gorgeous, 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 and I love the colors and they make me happy, and so I'm at 24 and I need 23, or I can only have 23. And that leaves me no room for anything just to distract me until I finish up some things. So let me know what you think. I know like I can do what I want, and like stitching is supposed to be fun and all of those things, but I am feeling a little overwhelmed by the number of WIPs I have, and that it bothers me that I'm not able to touch them and give them the attention that I think they deserve, but I also get distracted by new things. So I'm trying to find a way to kind of help me mitigate some of those feelings. Okay, so I am editing my WIP parade, and it's still the same day as when I filmed. So I think instead of waiting until Friday to upload my WIP parade, I'm going to upload it today. So I needed to film a different ending because I'll see you before the new year, I think. So my plan is to let me know what you think about like my plans / rules around what is a WIP. Do the ones in timeouts count as a WIP, or do they have their own special category while you're deciding if you're going to take them out of timeout or not? Of course, if I was to take them out of timeout, I would need a slot for them in the like total number of WIPs. So what I'm thinking is 23, no more than 23 WIPs for the year of 2023, which means Once I get up to 23, I would need to finish before I can start again. I hope that's going to kind of help limit me with the shiny things that I inevitably want to start along with people. And so, yeah, I would really love some feedback on that. And then maybe like towards the end of this week, I can kind of go through a little bit more like what my plans will be officially for the new starts for New Year's, and then also kind of the first few months of the year. So yeah, I hope you're well, and I will see you soon. Bye.